Hey there guys, welcome to PIVX Class. Today we have another episode in the Why Cryptocurrency series. That's the series where we get into the reasons why people have gotten into cryptocurrency. There's a lot of them, but today is about banks choosing who is allowed to operate in our world. Regardless of something being legal, banks can prevent certain people and businesses from operating. A lot of these videos have ended up relating to banks, but it can't be helped. Banks exert a lot of influence over your money, and it goes beyond how the law tells them to deal with your money. I've got two examples of this for you today. Both examples relate to cryptocurrency, but what happened can actually happen outside of cryptocurrency. So why don't I tell you about them and you can see what I mean. Okay, so the first is something that happened to a friend of mine actually, a fellow Canadian. Canada doesn't have much of a solid stance on crypto yet. They've said things like it needs to be regulated, but they've also said they are open to crypto. As far as official moves, they haven't really done very much yet. Taxation is pretty vague. People currently treat it like capital gains. There are no bans to my knowledge. I believe, like many others, they have made moves against securities posing as crypto. But compared to China, for instance, they haven't really done very much. Despite that, some of the banks around here are, shall we say, not so kind to crypto. My friend wanted to open an online store where people could buy the parts they need to mine cryptocurrency with GPUs. He planned on selling everything except the GPUs themselves, and he did not sell any cryptocurrency or even advise which ones people should buy. He just planned to sell specialized PC parts, basically. The bank figured out his business was related to cryptocurrency and denied him the ability to open a business account. This won't stop him, but it definitely makes it harder. Keep in mind, he was not asking for a loan. He just wanted to open up an account for the business. This is something you have to actually pay them for. There is no law against doing what he's doing, and it's not a risk for the bank. The bank simply decided to block him because they don't like crypto. You could argue they have a right to block who they choose. They are a private company. And honestly, you'd be right. They can, and they did. The problem is, though, the banks can operate without you, but you can't operate without the banks. They can decide your fate. With cryptocurrency, though, you don't need a bank account to make online transactions. You just need a wallet and some software for those transactions to be carried out on your store. These things are all attainable and operable without the banks. Since most cryptocurrency is decentralized, no one can tell you that you can't do business in that cryptocurrency. You decide for yourself. A bank may be able to choose who they do business with, but it isn't fair if you are dependent on them. That needs to change. This is one way that can happen. And just to be clear, this could happen to anyone wanting to run any business that the banks don't approve of. Not just cryptocurrency businesses. Now, I said I had two examples. Unfortunately, I saved the more unpleasant one for the end. In the case of my Canadian friend, he was able to get around his troubles pretty easily. It's unfortunate how he was treated, but it was not a hurdle he could not get past. This next one is also manageable, but more serious. And for me, a lot more disappointing. There are places in the world where the banks have decided on their own to freeze the accounts of cryptocurrency users. If they figure out you are buying or selling cryptocurrencies, they will freeze your account. If I were in that situation, my livelihood could be ruined by that. Because I chose to be sponsored by a cryptocurrency and be paid in that cryptocurrency, I could have my bank account frozen just because they don't like crypto. I wouldn't be able to pay my rent. I wouldn't be able to buy food. I wouldn't be able to do anything in the real world. There are solutions for that situation, but it makes it much more difficult. One first-hand account of this example is someone who has to move their money from crypto trades to a separate bank and then to his local bank to be able to withdraw money. He has to hide what is ultimately legal because the banks want to cut out the competition. It isn't just the banks being against cryptocurrency that is unpleasant. It is why they are against it. Perhaps not all banking organizations do it for this reason, but it's hard not to imagine the reason they block cryptocurrency is because crypto can seriously harm their business. If the world goes crypto, they won't need banks for storing their money anymore. They can still act as moneylenders, but even that is harder because they use your money as part of what they lend out to borrowers. It is very, very likely that banks are blocking cryptocurrency users because it endangers their business. They don't want to be replaced. I can understand that, but that behavior is unethical when considering how we have no choice but to deal with them. They are being given power that can help them choose whether their new competition succeeds or not. By all means, feel free to discuss this in the comments below. I know some people will have a differing opinion, but I feel this power they wield is very unethical. It is truly unfair that they can prevent any law-abiding person or organization from having a bank account. That's it. Those are my thoughts on banks having the power to decide who and what may operate in the world of commerce. I think it is truly unfair, but please feel free to comment below. I am very curious what others have to say about this subject. Also, if you liked this video, please hit that like button and share it. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you for tuning in. I love having you here, and I will see you in the next PIVX class.